Right then, I've been meaning to do this video for a while. This is going to just be a tutorial on how to download and install your own games to a SHAR KADE arcade cabinet that's running HyperSpin. This would be the same method as if you were adding games to HyperSpin on a secondary internal or external drive. We have on our 11 terabytes we have a 3 terabyte plus drive. So this is usually in the E drive, so we'll have around a terabyte and by 200 gig, so 1200 gig of space there. So what you would start to do, if it isn't already there, is you would create a downloads folder. So you go File, New Folder, and then you would name that Downloads. And then you would head over to Firefox or whatever other browser you're using and do a search for Torrent. You can use any other torrent client, a preferred one, whatever one you prefer. You would search Torrent and then you would save that. I already have it in there, so what we'll do is we'll give that a run. Just be sure you're not just clicking next on everything, and you check what you're actually installing, because some of these torrent uTorrent installs come with extra crap that you don't want, like this. You would decline the Adaware Web Companion, and then you would untick the Install Opera browser and then click next, and then you would if you want to create a desktop, a quick launch icon, that's entirely up to you. Don't want to start it with Windows when Windows starts up, so we'll untick that. Add exception to the firewall, and you want magnet links and .torrent files and stuff like that selected also. So you can launch uTorrent now. Just untick that, you don't need to launch it at the moment. Now you want to head over to this site. There is other sites, there's loads of other sites, as private torrent sites. I ain't gonna endorse you downloading and getting these games for free. I recommend you go and get the games from Steam and purchase a game, and then if you want to set them up on the arcade cabinet, I've got no issues of you actually downloading a copy of that if you own the game and then adding it to your machine. So I'm not endorsing downloading illegal copies. So back to downloading the copy of the game. Head over to, actually let's go back. Just be careful, some of these sites come with pop-ups. What we'll do is we'll go to Game Torrents and then we'll click on there and then click on PC. So these are all the PC titles. You have a ton on there. You have the likes of Jedi Fallen Order. What you would do is click on that. Just make sure it's going to be in your language. This is 51 gigs, so it will take a long time to download. You would click on Discard Raw Torrent. I believe it says Download Torrent. Open with uTorrent as default. Then you would agree if you want. I don't usually agree to them, but I usually have a way of skipping it, but just for this video we'll click on Save In. Then we'll head over to the E drive, click in the Downloads folder. I already have some there ready as a test. We'll select folder, and then you would untick these because they're just URLs, you don't need them, and click OK. You can always delete this out once you've downloaded and installed a game. That will then download. Sometimes in RAW extractions you've got to extract them out of the RAW file, but usually they are in these .iso image files. So that's downloading. What I'll do is I'll stop that because I don't need to actually download that. Close these pop-ups down. Sites like that always end up with pop-ups and stuff. Just close them down or use a pop-up blocker. If you're just going for the one game, something you want, just head over, download that one game and just disable the internet once it's downloaded. So let's close that down. That's stopped. When you've got torrents lay up there in the complete, you can go to remove torrent. You can delete the data or just delete the torrent. I want to just delete the data because I don't need it, but you would just usually go to delete torrent. So delete that data. We'll go into the downloads folder, minimize that. We'll head over to the downloads folder and then we'll find something to install. So then, this is quite a small game, 16 gig. So what you would then do is double click on the ISO file. That will then mount it to this section here. Just give it a moment. Right, that took a little longer than usual, but it's now mounted on there. So what you would do is usually just go into the folder and check what's in there to install. So you would open it up. This one doesn't have a crack folder, so what you would do is double click setup. You would OK that, click next. This is going to ask to install to the C drive. You don't want to install it to the C drive. You want to head over to the E drive and then you will click games, PC games, OK that, and then you would click next. And it already has that folder in there because we already have that game in there, and it would continue to install. Once it's installed, you would then head over to I believe Rocket Launcher next. But what you want to do is make sure all your file names and everything are named exactly the same. So in your games folder you'd have PC games, and then say if you've installed Star Wars Fallen Order, is you would have that, just make sure that name's exactly the same name you want on your menu. So it doesn't matter what the folder name is, as long as the name of your actual database in Rocket Launcher and your wheelot is named exactly the same. So what we will do is we'll head over to Rocket Launcher, load Rocket Launcher UI. With SHAR KADE cabinets you already have a nice list of games that's on there in the PC Plus folder. So let's head down to PC Games Plus, and then we should have a nice list there of games. This isn't my updated list, so what I can do is I would head to database there. I have these backed up anyways, I don't want to save none of them, and cancel them, and then just close these down. I don't need these open. So then we're in the Games Plus XML database file. So let's see if we're going to add the game Star Wars Fallen Order. Let's have a look, PC games, and then we would look at maybe calling it, I've named all my games that I've installed exactly how I want them in the menu, so that's what we will call it there. We didn't have to copy that though. And you just go down the list, and if it's an S, just put it in order. It's always nice to keep things neat, so it's ST, so here. So what we'll do is that would be the next game. So from where you have the game arrow there, we would highlight that selection from there up. We would copy, We'd create a new line by hitting enter, and then we would paste, which is Control and V. So Control and C is to copy and Control and V is to paste. And then if we wanted to add Star Wars Fallen Order, we could type that in there, but because I've got it named exact, I would copy and paste that into there. And then in the description, it could be anything you want, as long as the actual name of the game is exact, or the ROM if you're running a ROM, as long as the name of the game is exact to the actual database file, and then you can have that in there. Then on the description, it can be any name you want. If it's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Dash Order, and then you would put the dash in there. So what we'll do is we'll rename that there as well. We'll go to File, Save, and then we will close that down. So once that's filed and saved, you would audit it. You now see Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order in there. Would go over to Modules, hit on PC Launcher and go to Edit, System Specific Module Settings. Then you would click Add, and on that list would be what you've just created in your database. So whether you add 3 or 4 or 5 in there in between the lists, all of them games that you've added will come up. So we'll click on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and then we'll go over to this magnifying glass over here, and it usually by default it puts you in the D drive. We want to head over to this PC, E drive, games, PC games, and then down to your game folder itself. Now some of these game folders have the exe file in different folders, or it's in a root folder. You want to make sure you get the root folder one. So let's have a look of an example. So if we go to Star Wars Fallen Order, there's an icon there, there's an uninstall application file. You don't want none of those. It's usually in SW Games here, binaries, Win64, and then you have the exe file there. So we'd run that application into there, so we've got that string. Then what we want to do is click on app, wait, exe file, then click yes, and then we want to head just back to that exact same folder, that exact same file. So let's go to games, PC games, and then go to Star Wars game, binaries, Win64, and Star Wars Fallen Order. So now that's all set up, don't have to do anything else other than click on in-game. Because it's a PC game, your exit method's always best to go change that to in-game. So your normal exit method by hitting your left pinball or whatever button you've got mapped to your exit button, it doesn't exit the game. You actually got to go to the main menu of the game, quit the game, and then it'll exit back to HyperSpin. So then we can go and test that game out now if we just click launch, and loading. That will do a test. What I'll do is I'll turn my speakers off, and it doesn't interfere with the microphone. Some PC games also will take a while to load, so I just suggest you be patient. I know games like Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat XL, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and Injustice 2 can take quite a while to load, so you've just got to be patient. And some games as well may require a keyboard and mouse to be plugged in when you load the game. I know that's true with Mortal Kombat XL as well, and one of the other games, I'm not too sure which one, I think it's a Guilty Gear game. Hopefully my controller's working. I believe it's plugged in. if it is working because I am pressing buttons, but it is a first time load. It seems I have a save on there. Oh wait, I do have this game on my system. So right, like I say, let's quit to the main menu. We quit the game. That'll quit the game. We know that loads and we know that works. Now the other thing we've got to set up is the wheel art and stuff. You can go online, find some wheel art. You can sit on your laptop or PC, create your own wheel art. That I recommend you create your own to match the current wheel art, but you do have to create something on the lines of wheel art for everything to work right. So let's head over to the D drive and then arcade, media, and then we want to head down to we want to head down to PC plus games, PC games plus, images, wheel, and then on here we have all the different wheel arts. I do have my memory card, if we hold on a second, but I don't know what important information is actually on there. What I'll do is, because I don't know if I've got customers information on there and I don't want that showing up on the recording, is I won't put that in yet. I believe I have the wheel art already done on my backup. So if I go to backup, 11 terabyte backup, media, and then I have PC games plus, images, wheel art, and no, I don't have it on there. So this hasn't got me updated images. But what I'll do is I'll create, let's say, Shadow Warrior 2. I have a folder. I'll probably give a link to that folder of all the new updated wheel art, and then all them games will be added on there. So all them newer games. Right, so let's paste that into there. I don't want to replace that. Let's drag it to the desktop. I'll rename that to the Star Wars. So what was the Star Wars database? Let's have a look. Let's go back to E drive because I named it exactly. So if we just copy and paste that, we know that the database is named exactly that. It's a wrong image, but we'll just drag that in as an example. I'm not going to sit here and design one in front of you. I will have, like I say, I'll put a link in the description of the new created wheel art for all these games that's been added. So if we go back over to the D drive, HyperSpin, that's now Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. We will replace that with a different image. Like I say, I've got it on my memory card, but I don't want to load my memory card up in case it has customer information on there. So then let's go to arcade. Let's go to arcade and head down to HyperSpin. And head to PC Games Plus. And then, as you can see, it is named Star Wars Fallen Order. It is a Shadow Warrior 2 image, but like I say, I can upload them images for this wheel art. Each one's created the same wheel art. This is just my other 8TB HyperSpin drive. It's not yet updated with the new list of games and database, but I can copy that back from the other drive and just replace them files. Now then, if you've watched me videos before, you would have seen the extra games that is on our 11TB setup, and as you can see in that games folder, we have all newer games in there. Just a quick run through of the HyperSpin menu in all games. This is currently running on a an RTX 2060 graphics card. It has 16GB of DDR4 RAM and a Ryzen 5 CPU. That's usually our standard 11TB setups. Only solely because you have games like Resident Evil 7 the remake, the Far Cry series, obviously Star Wars The Fallen Order, which is a highly intensive graphical game, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and tons more. Like I say, check out my other video. I do a full run review of the PC Games Plus drive and the games that's on there currently. So we'll have PC games on here, just standard PC games: Big Buck Hunter, Blue Estate, Crash Bandicoot, which is a cool HD Insane Trilogy game. Crazy Taxi 2, Free, Cuphead, Dead or Alive 5, Pac-Man DX games, and Championship 2, which are two cool PC games. Also, you have the Angry Birds collection there, and I think these Angry Birds games work with the arcade sticks as well. I believe the arcade sticks will move like a mouse, so you don't have to connect a mouse to play these games. You can use the arcade sticks with them. And then if we head over to PC fighting games, this is just all the best collection of PC fighters. This is what makes my arcade machines different from the rest of the other ones you see online. You don't get games like these on the current arcade cabinets that's sold. You only really find these sort of games on SHAR KADE arcade cabinets, because we're putting the best of the best hardware you can get for the price range. So you've got like an AM3 AM4 Ryzen 3 CPU, and then you have the 8GB of DDR4 RAM. These are standard setups, and then you have the GTX 1060 graphics cards. I believe we're upgrading them free of charge now to the GTX 1650 graphics cards, which are slightly better than the 1060, because hardware is getting better and the prices are coming down. We're constantly and currently upgrading our hardware. I mean, originally we were only doing standard AM4 CPUs. Now we're on to Ryzen 3 CPUs as our bottom line hardware on our custom arcade cabinets. So then we'll have Mortal Kombat 9, Mortal Kombat XL, which is 10, then Soul Calibur 6, Street Fighter 5, Tekken, Street Fighter X, Tekken, Street Fighter 4, Super Street Fighter 4, I believe, or Super Street Fighter 4, Tekken 7, then we'll have King of Fighters 13, Dead or Alive 5, Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Still haven't seen a custom arcade cabinet seller that's even got this game on their HyperSpin setup. Then we'll have Guilty Gear XRD, Injustice 2, Injustice 1, Jump Force, Killer Instinct, and we're back to Mortal Kombat. On our 11TB setup, we'll also have Mortal Kombat 11, which we may come across on this menu, but like I say, I'm not sure if this has got me fully updated images and wheel art, so I'll have to copy that from the other drive that's at the shop. So let's have a look. We have the Phantom systems, we have the CDI, we have Pinball Arcade. So there's around 20 to 40, I believe, pinball tables on there. Then you have Pinball FX2, which has a nice range as well, around 40 tables on there. Then we'll have Pinball FX3, which has a few different ones to Pinball FX2, but a lot of them are just repeats. And we do have Future Pinball on this setup as well, which is over 500 pinball tables. I mean, the list goes on and on. One of my favourites on there is Masters of the Universe. So we have platformers, so we have a massive collection of platforming games there. Really nice collection there. And then we have the Pokemon collection, and all nicely themed. And then we have PopCap collection, which are mainly mouse games. There may be one or two games that aren't on here that are just removed. I mean, I couldn't be bothered to go and find them games again and re-add them to the system. And then we'll have PS Psycho, is it? I'll probably just Psycho. I think it's meant to mean Psycho. Anyways, we'll have a nice collection of looks like between fighting games and shoot 'em ups, and then we'll have puzzle games. I mean, some of these I haven't even attempted playing. Most of them are MAME games and stuff. There's some cool games on that Raisin. And then we'll have Rayman collection, Resident Evil collection. If you've just seen one of my previous builds, we've just done a really cool ass Resident Evil arcade cabinet, which there's a nice collection, like I say, of Resident Evil games on there. And there is the Resident Evil 2 on our 11TB setup, and the Resident Evil 7. Then we'll have rhythm games. Sammy Thomas Wave New. I love these games, absolutely brilliant. Let's see if we can go in there. One of my favourite fighting games up there with what my favourite fighting games is Fist of the North Star. It's definitely my Sammy Thomas Wave favourite game on that list there. And then we'll have I believe Samurai Spirits and the Samurai Showdown somewhere, which is another really cool game. It's a 3D version of Samurai Showdown. Samurai Showdown collection there. D-Ages, Sega CD, Sega Classics, Dreamcast, just tons and tons of Dreamcast. I believe there's probably the full collection there. I know on my old drive I did have Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I believe. There was 2 versions of it. It's not on here, but there was a Michael Jackson remix I used to have on my old drive. I don't believe I've added it on this, which is really cool. It has all the Michael Jackson music in that. Then we'll have Dreamcast, Sega, tons of Sega Genesis, Sega Mega Drive as well, which were the same anyways. Then we'll have Naomi Gun games. So we'll have Gun Survivor 2 on there, which was pretty cool. I gave that a quick go the other week. And then we'll have the House of the Dead games there, and then Sega Naomi 2. Not really looked at a lot of these ones. You've got Initial D, Virtua Fighter 4, just tons and tons and tons of stuff. Then we're into the more interesting arcade stuff. The Sega Ring and Sega Wide stuff. Sega Ring Edge and Sega Wide. So we'll have Initial D and a few others. I haven't got the whole collection of Techno Parrot stuff that run on Techno Parrot. I know there is some updates, but I just haven't had time to add newer stuff and getting them going and running. I believe there's new stuff like Tekken 7, maybe, can't think what's it, Rambo and stuff like that. There's Sega Golden Gun on here, so there is a nice collection. Like I say, the Sonic Sega All Stars, Chaos Code, Ford Racing, Sega Golden Gun, Let's Go Island, and then I believe it will go down to the nice Shotgun Games collection, Simpsons Arcade, Then we have Sonic, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. There's a nice few PlayStation 3 games on there. Nothing amazingly special. I mean, the PlayStation 3 is, even on a higher system, still isn't perfectly emulated. And we'll have some cool PS2 games there. We'll have a massive collection of PS2. You just can go on and on and on. I believe there's a couple of thousand PS2 on this drive. And then is the Super Nintendo, Super Smash Bros. Collection. And then we'll have Techno Parrot here, which has a really nice collection of Techno Parrot games. I believe Wacky Races, I may have to remove or re-add the ROM unless I updated it. I'm sure there was a missing ROM on there somewhere on the Techno Parrot. Then we have Blaze Blue, sorry, Chaos Code, Ford Racing, King of Fighters, Let's Go Island, Mario Kart DX GP, P4 Pokken Tournament. I think that's Power Instinct as well. That's a cool game. Sega Golden Gun. So a nice collection of Techno Parrot stuff. Like I say, it's not everything. There was a couple of gun games I had issues with. I may re-add them because someone's contacted us with some fixes. It's just I haven't had a lot of time. To be honest, there's so much cooler, newer stuff. Them couple of Techno Parrot games wouldn't really matter missing out on. Nice wrestling collection if you're really into wrestling games. So some cool stuff there. I think the only ones I really played when I was a kid was the WWF stuff, and I was never really into wrestling. It wasn't my thing. All my mates were mad on it still are. I believe my missus still loves wrestling, but I mean, it was never my thing. I liked the games, but I never liked watching it on and out. So let's go back, and then we have, just like I say, all the older arcade classics and retro classics like Atari, Asteroids Collection, the Atari ST, Bomberjack Collection, and Bomberman Collection, Capcom Collection, Doom, just tons and tons and tons. We even have some Flash games there. I mean, I wouldn't even bother playing any of these games, but they're there for people that are bored and they want something different. Future Pinball, I mean, tons and tons of tables on here. And they all work with the SHAR KADE setup. So you have your pinball buttons and your exit button on the front. I've not seen these tables, which is cool. I should have used one of them for the Superman intro vid. So yeah, like I said, tons and tons and tons of pinball stuff. In the future I will be doing a virtual pinball cabinet and do another one. I did do a Goonies one quite a few years ago now. That was just really thrown together and it still looked awesome, man. But my stuff has come a long way since then. Me custom grills and dust covers and other customized products and stuff, and there's more in the works. So I think I'm gonna end the video. What I'll do is I'll exit that and then I'll stop the video there. So like, share, subscribe to the videos, hit that notification bell, and hopefully this will let me stop the video. Right, so like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you later. Bye.